Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. Nevis joined the observance of World Health Day on Tuesday, April 7th by highlighting the importance of nurses and midwives. In her address to mark the occasion, Junior Minister of Health, the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, noted that nurses continue to work tirelessly to provide quality care and treatment to our people.
The World Health Organization, WHO, declared the year 2020 as the International Year of the Nurse and the Midwife. Hence, the theme for this year's World Health Day, Support Nurses and Midwives. The spotlight is therefore on nurses and midwives who play an essential role in the delivery of health care throughout the world. We therefore need to take the time to applaud and show more appreciation to our nurses for their hard work and dedication to the profession. We need to adequately remunerate them for their work. We need to support and invest in their continued education and in the resources they need to protect themselves, in an effort to provide that quality of care we all expect.
She also emphasized the fact that in this COVID-19 pandemic, nurses are among health workers who are on the front line.
Today, let us remember our nurses, especially in this present global climate. The COVID-19 pandemic has placed not only our residents and citizens at risk, but also our nurses and other healthcare workers. I endorse the nurses' tagline, "I stay at work for you, you stay at home for us." Please adhere to the measures put in place by the authorities which are aimed to minimizing the spread of COVID-19. And so, let us all continue to pray for our hard-working nurses during this global public health crisis.
In a unique show of support, the Health Promotion Unit invited members of the public to post Facebook videos expressing their appreciation of nurses and midwives. In more local news,
we recognize that this is a difficult time for all of us. We recognize that people have been asked to sacrifice.
Premier and Senior Minister of Health, the Honorable Mark Brantley, is appealing to persons on Nevis to heed the stipulations set out in the Emergency Powers COVID-19 regulations.
We recognize that this is highly unusual, that people have been asked to stay in their homes. In fact, in my lifetime, I have never known a curfew until now. And so I could recognize for particularly our younger people, and indeed for all of our people, that this is a very difficult period. I would, however, continue to encourage our people to stay at home. I am happy with the preparations, and we continue even now to prepare. And I ask our people to heed the warnings and do the right thing. Be responsible and stay at home.
The Premier also admonished residents to adhere to the social distancing protocols.
We have seen the unfortunate situation across the Federation that when the strict curfew, 24-hour curfew is lifted and persons are allowed to replenish their stocks and go to the supermarkets, that some crowding has happened. We're asking our people to be disciplined, to understand that staying apart from each other, practicing the necessary social distancing, the experts are telling us at least 6 feet, that is critical if we are to beat this virus and this pandemic and come out on the other side together. Stay off the roads. Do not congregate at any point because that helps the spread, and we're trying to reduce the spread. As we know, we've already had cases in Nevis, and so we're trying to battle to ensure that we have no additional cases and that we can control what is happening on the island.
Meantime, Superintendent Lyndon David, commander of the Nevis Division of the Royal St. Christopher and the Nevis Police Force, notes that the 24-hour curfew will be lifted on April 8th, but a partial curfew will remain in place. He is making a plea to the members of the public to be mindful of the restrictions.
Thus far, we have had 4 persons who were arrested for breaching the curfew. We would have had 2 on the 1st, 1 on the 2nd, and 1 on the 3rd. We are hoping that we will not have to arrest any more persons because you will be totally compliant with the regulations. We are still seeing some persons moving about through the curfew. However, I must say, most of the infractions occur on partial curfew days. So this week, Wednesday and Thursday, we'll be having partial curfew on those days. We're asking persons to comply with the social distance and physical distance protocols or rules that are set down. 6 feet apart, whether it's in front or behind, left or right.
He also had some advice for the owners of commercial enterprises.
Businesses, those of you which will be open on the partial curfew days, you are required by the regulation to ensure that you have markings so that people can stand within that range. If you want to extend it to 7 feet, no problem, better yet. But we are saying to you, it's not only for inside, but it's also for outside of your property. We will be having police officers in these areas to enforce the social distancing. Whenever the police and defense force personnel come along, comply. Failure to do so, it can lead to an arrest. And guess what? If we are realizing that there are many persons who are failing to comply, we will have to do what we would not want to do. That is to ask the business establishment to shut off operations. Shut off operations, because this health and safety of the populace comes first at this time.
Superintendent Lyndon David of the Royal St. Christopher and the Nevis Police Force. Still to come?
Outside of the emergency lockdown days, the offices of the social services are open. Clients can collect their monthly checks and food vouchers.
We'll give you the details after this break.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Help us take care of me so I could take care of you.
This is a crucial time, no time for mistakes.
You stay at home for us.
Help us. Take care of me so we could take care of you.
Please wash your hands.
Be responsible and stay at home.
You can save lives only when you comply. Play your part, save a life, stay at home.
We are exposed to everything for you.
Maintain social distancing.
I stay at work for you. Help us to help you. Please stay at home. We stay at work for you. You stay at home for us.
Stay updated by following the Health Promotion Unit on Facebook and Instagram or contact us at 469-8010.
Welcome back. The Department of Social Services continues to offer a number of services to the public during the state of emergency. Director of the Nevis Disaster Management Department, Brian Dyer, who is the co-chair of the Nevis COVID-19 Task Force, recently gave updates in relation to those services.
With regards to persons who have responsibilities for taking care of the elderly or persons living alone, the number to call is 664-9670. An officer from the social services will be there to answer your questions and also to provide you with a letter to operate during the curfew hours. Social services senior field workers are required to daily check on clients by phone, but relatives are also being urged to look for these seniors and obey the strict protection of their health as required by the Ministry of Health. Outside of the emergency lockdown days, the offices of the social services are open. Clients can collect their monthly checks and food vouchers, but are expected to follow the safety guidelines in the social services offices. The offices are located at Lower Government Road and at Stony Grove. New interviews, however, will be done strictly via telephone.
The Department of Social Services Counseling Unit also continues to offer support services.
The Director, Sandra Maynard, she has advised that the number for counseling and emotional support in response to COVID-19 are 664-7269, 665-9565. The counselors who operate from the Social Services Development counseling unit will operate these numbers. Persons are asked to use these numbers as no face-to-face counseling is presently being done. The number 665-2501 can be used for generalized social assistance, requests or queries. These include child protection or violence or abuse matters.
The Ministry of Agriculture is urging members of the public to support local farmers and vendors.
We want to encourage on the relaxed curfew days that you support our roadside vendors, particularly those persons who sell fruits and vegetables and so on. We find that quite a lot of the public is at the supermarkets, but when you visit the roadside vendors, we don't have quite a lot, and ironically the food at the roadside vendors tend to be far more nutritious than what you're getting at the supermarket. So indeed, we're encouraging that. We want to also say please to support our local egg farmers. We're quite sufficient in the production of eggs on the island. We also have quite a lot of the hotels that are not operating as normal. So we do have quite a lot of eggs on the island. So please also support our farmers.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Huey Sargent, made the call during the April 6th Nevis COVID-19 EOC debrief. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, thank you for viewing.
Wash your hands, wash your hands.
Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. To keep away the flu, there is one thing we must do. Wash our hands, wash our hands, wash our hands.